Product management is often marketed as a stable, well-defined tech career. But after spending more than a decade in product, I've learned that it doesn't really work like a normal job. And that misunderstanding causes a lot of frustration, even for people who are good at it. Hi, I'm Anne. I've spent the last decade in product, and I'm documenting how I think about product leadership, judgment, and setting direction in modern organizations. Most careers have a clear path. You get hired into a role, you do the work, and if you're competent, you grow over time. Product isn't like that. In product, you don't just get a role, you have to continually earn your scope. Every year, sometimes every quarter, you're implicitly re-justifying why your work matters. This is something no one tells you about. As a PM, part of your job is finding the next problem worth solving. If you wait for work to be handed to you, you slowly lose relevance. And the most effective PMs I know are always scanning the organization for gaps, misalignment, or emerging opportunities. That's not laziness on the organization's part, it's just the nature of the role. People often say PMs are the CEO of the product, and that's partially true, but it's also misleading. You're expected to think like a CEO by setting direction, balancing trade-offs, caring about outcomes, but you don't actually have CEO authority. You have influence, and that's another big misconception. You have to play the politics, and a lot of the times the products that end up taking off or getting a lot of exposure and attention boils down to the politics that were played behind the scenes. That gap between the responsibility of the product and how well it performs and the authority for how far it goes is where a lot of burnout comes from. Product is also deeply tied to technology shifts. So if you stop learning, your relevance erodes quietly, not because you're bad, but because the context keeps changing inevitably. You don't need to chase every trend, but you do need to stay close enough to the cutting edge to understand what is now becoming possible. Because product sits at the intersection of strategy, execution, leadership, it's often the first place organizations will look to when things go wrong, or when they're running out of budget. That is what makes it powerful, but not particularly stable. Because product rewards people who are comfortable with ambiguity and self-direction, and it's a lot less forgiving for people who need clear guardrails. If you understand this early, product can be an incredibly fulfilling career, but it works best when you treat it as a leadership craft, not as a job title. And you're not building features anymore. You're building judgment and vision. If you're considering product management or rethinking your relationship to it, my advice is this. Don't ask whether it's stable, ask whether you're comfortable constantly redefining your value. That is the real work.